Let's just go ahead and get started with the intro to our webinar today. First, I do want to thank everybody for joining. I'd also just like to mention that if there are any questions for Q&A, we'll hold that portion of the webinar for the very end. So definitely if you have any questions, just hold on to them, think about them, jot them down as they're presenting, and then we'll go ahead and answer those for sure once we finish the presentation. So just getting things started, just to kick things off. So today we are going to be going over Performance Max. We've titled this webinar Performance Max as the companion for Google Ads innovation. And I think that really speaks to the type of campaign that it is. It really is designed to be a companion to the search campaigns, the display campaigns that you may have already running in your account. So that really speaks to the importance of Performance Max and the automation that it brings. So first, I do want to introduce myself. My name is Kevin Clark. I'm the paid search director for Alphametic. I have been working within digital marketing for about 14 years. I've worked in an agency environment, in-house, for startups, for a number of different verticals. Both, working within strategy, tactics, being very hands-on within the accounts, mentoring and managing, and really just trying to strive for the best success, utilizing vision for the accounts that we work with. So that's a little bit about myself, and I'd like to introduce you guys to both Maggie and Max, who will introduce themselves as well. So Maggie, go ahead and take it away.
Hi, my name is Maggie Wolshin, and I'm the Senior Digital Ads Analyst for Alphametic. And I've been dabbling in digital marketing for the last 8 years or so, and loving every minute of it, and excited to share something about Performance Max with everyone.
My name is Max Kaczynski. I am the Senior Digital Marketing Manager at Alphametic. I've also had about 8 years of experience. I came from more of a full service marketing background and just found this great passion for Google Ads and digital marketing specifically. So I joined the team and I work with Kevin and Maggie on a weekly basis.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Max and Maggie. Also, a quick note, we do have a poll. We do want to get as much interaction with you guys as possible. So that poll does have 2 questions. It's a yes or no answer for both. So if you guys do have the time, feel free to answer those poll questions, and we'll get to them at the end of the presentation. Perfect. I see some answers coming in already. Alrighty. So a little bit about Alphametic. Definitely, our motto is your business is our business, and that really is true. Just a quick focus of what we really provide in terms of being a digital marketing agency. So we really do focus on SEO, digital ads, which is comprised of Facebook, LinkedIn, and Google Ads, as well as smart content, which is in addition to really just complement SEO, making sure that your content strategy is in place. A quick look at some of our top clients. We've worked with Calvin Klein, L'Oreal, Skykick, Homeward, Novartis, Equalize Capital, Shopkeep, and SBDC, just to name a few. Here's just a quick look at our advanced SEM. So we do utilize a lot of strategies to really focus on lead generation and conversions. So within SEM and PPC, as we are aware, that is more so a bottom of funnel channel. So we really do strive to generate great cost per conversions, ROI. And as you see here, this is just an example of signups for one of our clients where we do see significant increases in the conversions, the cost per converted click, and the click conversion rate. And finally, just an intro for Alphametic. We are a certified Google partner agency. This just really speaks to really authenticating our skill set, because to maintain our Google partnership status, we do have to maintain certifications. So we are certified as an agency in search, shopping, display, YouTube, And we also do have to make sure that we do maintain an ongoing optimization score of 70%. So that just really ensures that we're always, optimizing our campaigns, being attentive to them, and making sure that we do demonstrate that proficiency, as mentioned, by passing those certifications. Now, Performance Max, here we go. All right, so a quick look at Performance Max. I think as everybody may be aware, Performance Max is a relatively new campaign type. So Performance Max is great because it is very much powered by automation. And I'm going to go deeper into the value and the virtue of automation as I go throughout this presentation, because it is a very key point to the success of Performance Max and really having this as a complementary campaign and a companion to your existing campaigns. So Performance Max, it covers the entire inventory of ads on Google, YouTube, display, search, discover, Gmail, and maps. And as mentioned, it's meant to work in conjunction with your campaigns, not to replace them or to interfere with for example, the keyword strategy that you may have for a traditional search campaign. So Performance Max, when should it be used? Just a brief overview. So it can be used for a variety of different tactics. It can be used for lead acquisition, for online sales, for store visits, for website visits. And the great thing about this is that it's one campaign used for those various goals. And as mentioned, also gives you access to all of Google's inventory. So I'm first going to start out with automation, trends, and ingenuity, just more so conceptual thinking about how the industry has really changed over time, how it's evolved. And I think as an agency and working with our clients, we always want to be at the forefront of emerging trends, nascent technology and things of that nature to make sure that we're always forward thinking. So the evolution through the years in terms of automation. So as mentioned, automation is extremely important for Google Ads. And in my opinion, Google is very aware of the changing nature of search and media buying. And they've been able throughout the years to really soothe the complexity of this ecosystem with advanced automation. Here's a quick quote from Think with Google, where they say when advertisers avoid using automated tools, they're operating with a mindset that's been outdated for more than 20 years. So make sure we think about that. Here's a few examples of how Google has really moved toward automation throughout the years. If you recall, a while back, we had to manually, input our bids, update our bids on a daily, on a weekly basis. So that's really been supplanted by smart bidding and machine learning and really algorithmic bidding that really takes away some of those cumbersome tasks and allows us to more so focus on strategy. Also, we've seen the introduction for responsive search ads, which have now replaced static ads, and the expanded search ads, which did not allow for the responsiveness of the ad. And basically those ads are now defunct. We've also seen the introduction of dynamic search campaigns, which to some degree have supplemented and supplanted manual keywords. So with a dynamic search campaign, you don't input your keywords. Google's technology is able to really scan the page, understand the semantics, identify keywords, and then also create headlines with that. So this is more so Google's thinking, the evolution, and this is all kind of combined into Performance Max. Here's another couple quick quotes from L'Oreal, Beauty of Automation. They've mentioned that they've won big during mega sales with Performance Max. And then also from Kate Barrow, the VP of Growth at Rothy's. She was very hesitant at first to use automation to make such important decisions, but she says the results spoke for themselves. Automation stays on top of customer trends and behavior faster than we can. And that's the truth. So a quick question for you guys. Raise your hands if you use programmatic advertising or if you're thinking about using programmatic advertising. So you should have the option to raise your hand within the channel. And I do see some people raising their hands. So thank you for that. That's great. Awesome. So many of you guys are using that tool. So here's just a quick look at programmatic and automated media buying. So the reason why I'm bringing this up is because I think we're all aware that Google's really going to be I should say the landscape of the internet is going to be changing when it comes to privacy. And so, we've had to work with transitioning over to GA4. We've had to use enhanced conversions because iOS with their privacy updates and, CCPA and GDPR and all these things are really focused on consumer privacy. So with the evolution of the web, third-party cookies are going to be going away. And when we think about automated media buying and we think about programmatic advertising, programmatic is, it serves ads to multiple channels, display, video, social, audio, native, digital, out of home. So Performance Max really aligns closely with this type of programmatic advertising, where programmatic is using automated technology to buy the ads for you within an exchange. So with a combination of automation and Performance Max, we're able to serve our ads to all these different networks to utilize the power of automation. We can also capture additional traffic, show our relevant advertising with responsive ads, and as mentioned, it also complements our search strategy. So more so to the privacy-safe nature of the web and privacy-safe media buying. This goes into programmatic and how we should be thinking about the future. So with the phasing out of third-party cookies, this really necessitates reimagined media buying. And even Google says, programmatic advertising can fundamentally reimagine the way that we build our audiences. And so with Google has access to an ecosystem that we use all the time. We use Google, we use Chrome, we use their YouTube, their apps, and this is all first-party data for them. They also allow us to upload our own first-party data utilizing customer match. And so let's just think about the context of this. With the phasing out of third-party cookies, in the future, we're going to have to rely much more on first-party data, things like customer match, harnessing the power of machine learning and anonymized data and optimized targeting, for example. Also, when we think about browsing the web, Google also has access to this ecosystem with their Chrome browser. So when we're browsing the web, Google is going to be able to identify using the Privacy Sandbox Topics API, the topical relevancy of the various websites that we go to, and they have access to this data. This is their first-party data. So the synergy between Google's platforms really allows for much better first-party data compliance. And when we're thinking about our advertising into the future, I think we're going to be wanting to rely much more on Google's ecosystem and their technology and automated tools like Performance Max and discovery campaigns and optimized targeting. Just moving on just a little bit, we also want to make sure that we're always staying relevant with Google Trends. And the reason why I brought this up is because we can utilize Google Trends to really uncover consumer interest and tailor our ads accordingly. So why is this important? This is important because we want to be able to, in context of Performance Max and automated technology, quickly serve trend-based ads across all Google networks. So I use Fenty Beauty as an example. So Fenty Beauty, it's a very popular brand. I think we know Rihanna. And so just looking at Fenty Beauty within Google Trends, as an example, we can see where this brand is trending. We can see the related queries for this brand. So for example, if you're within the beauty space and you do a search for where Fenty Beauty is trending, what are some of the related queries that are rising, that are breaking out? So people are searching for things having to do with a lip stain, hydration, Invisimatte blotting powder, contour sticks, even Fenty Beauty ketchup, which is kind of like a new thing within the beauty space. So if you want to quickly serve trend-based ads to all networks, you have access to Google Trends to see what is trending. And with Performance Max, you can just easily update your responsive ads and tailor your ads to trends by including breakout and related queries as headlines and responsive ad units. And as mentioned, to quickly scale and to serve them across all networks and regions that are surging. Let's take the Super Bowl, for example. we know that she's going to be performing. So if you as a brand, if you are in the beauty space, you want to be taking advantage of these trends, kind of getting in front of where you think demand's going to be, and then utilizing this automated technology to serve these tailored ads, across all networks and in various regions. Next, going into Gmail and timely solutions at scale. So we've discussed a lot about the scalability of Performance Max, the automation, but we also want to be able to be timely. And so this kind of ties into our previous slide where we really discussed trends and different queries and searches that may be trending for various events or related to popular brands. So this just takes a step further. In high volume seasons, for example, let's think about holidays and Black Friday. You want to make sure that you are timely and showing up at relevant moments during the customer's journey, connecting with them, with your high value customers at scale. And you can also do this through simplified campaign management and optimization with Performance Max campaigns. So that's the key takeaway here. The timely solution at scale, being able to show up at relevant moments, particularly for high volume seasonal periods, Black Friday, Cyber Monday, Christmas, what have you. Quickly scale to all the networks on Google during those periods using automated technology like Performance Max. Just going a step further, Gmail and seasonality. So one thing to take note of is that we mentioned all the various networks that Performance Max has access to. One key thing to note is by either using Performance Max or Discovery campaigns, Discovery being more so a subset of Performance Max, which I'm going to discuss more so in a bit, but you only have access to Gmail by utilizing either a Performance Max campaign or a Discovery campaign. And who does not use Gmail? More than 1 billion active users come to Gmail every month. So if you want to have access to inventory on Gmail, a Performance Max campaign or a Discovery campaign is the only way to do this. And so more so for timely solutions at scale, connecting, for example, on Black Friday with your audiences, with your customers, using Gmail ads when they're likely going to be, perusing their inboxes to look for promotions and all these various sales that people are sending to them. That's really your opportunity to be literally top of mind at the top of their inbox with a Performance Max or a Discovery campaign that serves to Gmail. You can also connect your Gmail ads with customer match. So if you want to if you have a customer match list, and just to kind of explain that a little bit, customer match allows you to upload, if you have access, first party access to data that your customers have given you. For example, if people have signed up for email deals or what have you, and they've given you access to their email addresses, you can then upload that to your account using customer match, and then serve them ads directly into their Gmail inbox. So I mean, to me that seems pretty amazing. And this is more so a focus on the Gmail advertisement. So I don't think that too many people are aware of Gmail ads, but there is a new kind of like metric for Gmail ads, and it's called engagements. And it really allows you to, as the name implies, to engage with your customers. So what is an engagement? An engagement is, and I have an example here. So this is on the left, this is the closed Gmail ad. As you see here in the promotions, somebody's inbox at the very top, they click that ad. And once they click that, that's considered to be an engagement. Here I have an example of like the average cost per engagement is extremely cheap, 37 cents. Sometimes I've seen even cheaper than that. So the engagement is kind of like a click, and it opens up to what I say is almost like a mobile landing page, because with the Gmail ads and with the Discovery ads, which I'm going to go into more detail on, it opens up this like browser, this landing page like page in your browser window with visually compelling images. So once somebody clicks this engagement, using your visuals, you really have the opportunity to get strong brand impressions, to, promote a sale, a new offer through clothing, so this engagement is really much for really communicating your message clearly with branding and imagery, and also to feature a compelling CTA. And here's a better example where I think this works very well for retail. So if you are in the retail space, you can then serve feed-based advertisements directly to somebody's Gmail inbox. All you need is a Merchant Center account, link it to Google, upload your automated feed, and serve products directly to the inbox in Gmail when you mix it with your feed. You can show a carousel of products to your prospects. So here, for example, this is a screenshot that I took from my phone. And this is Nordstrom to me. And, here they have a carousel of products. Some is showing, where it's discounted. And it's, the sky's the limit here. We can use our imagination on the various ways we can, just introduce new products, new promos, and it's visually compelling. So it's different from the traditional nature, I think, of what we typically see from just search and even other forms of advertising, where I think this is, directed to somebody's inbox, and it shows you multiple product listings all on one page, in addition to the price, and it can be combined with customer match to further refine your targeting. So I mentioned all this because I don't think that people are necessarily taking advantage of all these features that Google Ads has to offer. And here's just another quote. This just shows from Rothy's again, how retailers are succeeding with Performance Max. This just shows from them, and this was also from a Google case study, that with the implementation of Performance Max to promote footwear and accessories, they've seen increased conversions by 60% and revenue by 59%. And by having access to all this additional inventory, I can see where that's very much probable. Also, as we go into discovery ads, this is an example of the ads served on YouTube, on the Discover feed, and then also on Gmail for another advertiser. So just a quick example of how these appear on these various channels. The left is YouTube, where it also has a carousel. The middle is Discover, and then the right is, as we saw previously, Gmail. And now the Discover feed. So this is my most, the one that I love to talk about the most. So the Discover feed is interesting to me because I think this is an app and, a feed that not many people are even aware of. So this is more so the discovery campaign aspect. And I'm going to distinguish discovery campaigns from Performance Max. So basically the main difference is Performance Max serves to search, to display, to YouTube, to Discover, to Gmail, and to apps. Discovery campaigns just serve to the social media style feeds on YouTube, on Discover, and on Gmail. So it's more so feed-based advertising. It's not search, it's not display. And it's also kind of gated behind an app. And by that, I mean, to serve these, for a user to access these ads or to see these ads, they have to be using the YouTube app. They have to be using the Google app that you download from the App Store or the Google Play Store, or they have to be using a Gmail app on their phone or the web-based application. So it's a little bit different from like a display campaign where not anybody has to kind of like log in. So to me, this kind of speaks to it almost qualifying the prospects a little bit more because they have to be accessing an app. But the most important thing here is discovery campaigns through these three channels, YouTube, Discover, and Gmail. You can reach up to 3 billion people per month. And according to Google, 78% of feed users check their Google feeds. So by reaching people on these three channels, you can increase your brand awareness, reach more potential customers as they browse. You can serve, as we saw, you can serve visually rich ads. You can drive conversions with your media at scale. And then also too, I think this is a very important point, you can quickly scale your social media campaigns. So the dimensions for a lot of the images that you would then use to create and to compose these ads on these three channels are the same dimensions that you use for your social media ads. So you can quickly just transition the two. there's not much overhead or time to set this up, because you already kind of like have the collateral to use for this channel. Just a quick quote on enhancing your audience in every season with discovery ads. As mentioned, 78% of feed users check their feeds. It's an exciting innovation for discovery ads to really keep your audiences engaged, from now through any season. And a quick look at the Discover feed. So the Discover feed, this is an app. To access this feed, you have to be utilizing Google's app, not just going to google.com, not Chrome, but you have to download the app from the App Store. And so this is a quick look at the feed. On the right, those are my interests. So, some things I kind of look at from here and there: Ethereum, my Tesla Model 3, fashion, task management, analytics, so there is digital marketing, so there is a lot of work there too. So how does Google decide what to show you in Discover? So Google uses information from your device and from other Google products. Again, let's think about the entire ecosystem that they have for the first party data, your web and your app activity, personal results, and also your location history and your settings. So this is all first party data. You're using their applications. And to give you an example, just to distinguish first party and third party data, a third party like cookie per se would be like a Facebook cookie for remarketing, and then Facebook adds like a cookie to your browser and they track you like across the web. That's third party cookies, so that's going to be more of, as we kind of like go into like this more privacy safe world, we're going to have to think more so about privacy compliance and first party data solutions. And Google has access to a lot of that because you're using their browser, you're using their tools, their apps, etc. So they have access to your information because all the time you opt into it. So thinking about the Google app, so this is just an example of, I think, how important this app is. So as mentioned, you can only access the inventory on Discover utilizing Performance Max or a Discovery campaign. And Discover ads are only served to people who are using the Google app. And I didn't realize how popular this app was until not too long ago, actually. So this app is actually ranked number 3 in the iOS store for free apps, but it's ahead of Instagram, ahead of YouTube, ahead of Twitter, ahead of Gmail, ahead of WhatsApp, Reddit, Amazon, Messenger, Snapchat, Facebook. So Google's app outranks its digital ad competitors. It's right behind TikTok, which, as we know, has become like a phenomenon. So untap the potential. There's this many people who are accessing this app, accessing this feed. Do you have inventory on the Discover feed utilizing Performance Max or Discovery campaigns? I'm not sure how many people do. But if you advertise on Facebook or Instagram, you can definitely easily transition your ad campaigns to these types of campaign types. All right, so just a quick look. I'm going to get into like some of the weeds a little bit, but this is a look at a discovery campaign. And the reason why I brought this up is this focuses on the days to conversion. And as mentioned, these apps, they're kind of gating people a little bit. People have to download these apps to then be seeing these ads. It's also very much, driven by very good audience targeting. Like when we think about audience targeting, like let's think about YouTube, for example. So with YouTube, I can get lost, just browsing what Google recommends to me because their targeting is like really that great. So like when it comes to targeting on discovery campaigns, for example, and from what I've seen, you reach a very qualified audience. Here's a quick example where the days to conversion were upwards of 14 days, 21 days, 30 days, 45 days, with the majority taking place between 21 to 30 days after somebody clicks an ad. And this was for a bottom of funnel conversion. And so basically this means that if somebody is converting, that many days after they interact with your ad, this to me, this is very indicative of reaching highly qualified and engaged users because they're converting that far out after interacting with your advertisement. Also, another indicator of quality is the SMART goal. So the SMART goal is a highly credible measure of engagements. It's probably the most credible engagement metric there is, and it kind of speaks to the 80-20 rule. And by that, I mean, within the SMART goal audience, they can make up 10%, 5% of your traffic, and they tend to make up approximately, just in general, about 70% of your total conversions. And I've seen that consistently across various clients. But the point is that the SMART goal is a very, strong measure of qualified traffic and engagement. And so just here's an example too, for this campaign, there was 123 conversions total, 62 were SMART goals. So taking into consideration the previous slide where we saw a very high days to conversion, which indicates quality, we also see high volume SMART goals, which also indicates a lot of engaged users who reached our website through this campaign. Just another quick case study. One UK fashion brand really, met their revenue and surpassed it using discovery ads, increase in ROAS, return on ad spend, of upwards of 62%, increase in revenue, 70%. The approach for them was new customer acquisition and closing the loop with the existing customer base. Also keys to automation. When thinking about the automated strategies for discovery and for Performance Max, we can also unlock further potential by manually inputting various signals. So signals utilizing optimized targeting. It can then expand on those signals to find new audiences, new demographics that you may not have thought of. You can also input custom intent audiences using keywords. So if somebody has searched for a keyword previously, you can also use that in audience to serve them an ad on discovery campaigns or Performance Max. So a quick kind of visual of optimized targeting. So basically what this says, what this is communicating visually is all the time we may think we know who our audience is, and we kind of identify the audience and that demographic. But with optimized targeting, it uses your landing page and the creative signals from your assets to expand your audiences. So it's really important to fine tune your assets and your landing page. Is truly essential because all those inputs and all that data utilizing optimized targeting then just allows the machine learning and the algorithm to find these new prospects who you may not have even thought were, interested or a part of your intended audience for your brand. And just a quick look, if you're interested in following Eva Valerio, she is the global head of the Discover feed and the discovery ads, which are a central and kind of new component of both Performance Max and Discovery. So thank you for your time. That's pretty much it for my section. And I'm going to go ahead and pass it over to Maggie. So Maggie, take it away.
Okay, thank you so much, Kevin. So let's get into what audience signals actually are. So audience signals are basically a new targeting feature that's included in Performance Max campaigns. They combine your knowledge of your own customers, of potential users that you could potentially want, with Google's vast automation systems. So the two work hand in hand as your inputted audience signals guide Google's automation tool in pursuing who is likely to convert for you. So this is basically a digital handshake that opens up the door to new and potential audience segments. So upon receiving your audience parameters, automation builds on the information in order to keep the campaign focused on your relevant targets, as well as tapping into new potential sources. So what are the two most important audience signals? So let's start with custom segments. So custom segments are basically information regarding what your potential customers might be interested in, like specific products and services. You can also include relevant keywords or URLs here to further narrow your search. These also include in-market segments, which are meant to build awareness and drive consideration for your product or service, as well as affinity segments, which are segments that target individuals who've already expressed interest in your product or service. Finally, we can't forget interests and demographics, which will definitely round out your ideal customer. The second most important audience signal would be your data, of course, first-party data, which includes customer lists. So a list of your existing customers, for example, individuals who've expressed interest in your product or service, and of course, individuals that have already made a purchase of your product. This also includes website visitor lists, app user lists, and finally, video viewer lists. So we've learned a little bit about what audience signals are. So let's go through quickly and take a look at how you would be inputting them. So once you've begun the process of creating your new campaign, you'll arrive at the audience signal input section. So since you're starting from scratch, you won't have any signals previously recorded, so you'll have to create a new audience. So you'll select the new audience. After you've named your new audience, you're ready to create your first custom segment. So at that point, you'll select new custom segment. After you've named this new custom segment, you can finally begin your deep dive into all the possibilities for audience signals. So you'll be considering to start off your ideal customer's interests and enter them as keywords. So for example, if you're a pet furniture seller, you'll be interested in maybe typing in, dog beds, cat trees, cat beds, things like that, cat furniture, dog furniture. So this is where you'd start inputting terms like this. Also, you'll be considering how your potential customer is searching for your product on Google itself. So you'll be choosing the appropriate search terms that your potential converter is using in their journey. So these will be also similar to the terms that we were just discussing in the previous slide. You can also enter different types of interests that are sort of more elaborate, or just build off of your original search terms. You can also add additional information like URLs that are similar, relevant to yours, or apps. So in this case, if we're sticking to the pet furniture, you could use Chewy, the app or the website, and PetSmart, for example, and others that are recognized by Google. Also, as you're entering these different parameters, on the right side of the screen, you'll see segment insights, which will give you potential weekly impressions and a demographics breakdown in terms of how those people are searching for the keywords and parameters that you have entered. Finally, the demographic selections round out the ideal customer. This section is pretty user-friendly. Sorry, if you could just go back. There we go. So one more. Yeah. So this section is actually quite user-friendly. So apart from age and gender, you can definitely jump into parental status and income level to narrow your field further. So after your campaign has been running for a little while, you can definitely pop into the Insights tab, and it can be a very valuable source of information just to see how everything is performing, how your audiences are performing. So among the things that you can that you'll be able to discover, you can see week-over-week conversions and CPA. You can see that in the graph below here on the left. Projected conversions in the week to come. If you put your cursor over the conversions, including projections section, it'll give you projections for the next week. Also, search term insights, which would be the search term categories you're participating in and your performance within those categories, as well as audience insights, which is the performance of your audience segments. So for following along with audience insights, that information is segmented by signals, which is information provided by you, or optimized, which is new information generated from automation. And you can see the breakdown of that in the table below. So now that you're familiar with audience signals, like what their purpose is, how to install them, how to evaluate their results, you're ready to proceed with Max by learning more about the different advertising channels available for these Performance Max campaigns. Thank you.
Thanks, Maggie.
You're welcome.
All right, so now that we do know the details and what the capabilities are of Performance Max and discovery campaigns, it's time to jump in as a digital marketer to understand, okay, how do I use this? How am I actually going to implement Performance Max What ad assets do I need to create and organize with the creative team, and what does my messaging and strategy look like? So for Performance Max, the biggest thing is that it really allows you to maximize your reach by utilizing all of Google's channels, like Kevin was explaining earlier. So a lot of people just focus on search and display. Maybe they have video and they can run like a video YouTube campaign, but there's other avenues, right? And that's exactly what Performance Max is giving us: Gmail, Discover, even shopping campaigns, right? So our goal here is to attract new prospects. Performance Max really can help engage and convert into customers, which is ultimately the end goal. The one reason I like Performance Max is that it really helps showcase the content and the ad message in different ways. We all know people digest information differently, so we're able to provide options for them, right? Message touch points and with like a frequency. They might read an ad in Gmail, they might see something when they're doing search, but then they're also given video attributes, so they're having sound and audio or visually like display advertising. So it really works to hit the prospect in multiple avenues with different types of messages with different attributes. So it really makes it like a really well-rounded campaign option. So for the assets itself, I think the highlight here is that we can really use a ton of assets, right? We can add multiple at the same time, multiple images, multiple logos and videos and headlines, and you can rotate them throughout seasons. Or if you're using trends like Kevin pointed out earlier, you can quickly turn on trending subject lines and topics and add a promotion, remove it. So it's very versatile, and it just gives us a lot of flexibility and ultimate control. Giving the machine learning more assets, it basically gives you a better opportunity for better optimization and delivering the top performing combinations of ad types and different message groups. So we're basically loading the cannon, so to speak, and giving the system its ability to figure it out with the machine learning and to deliver the best results. So campaign synergies, this is interesting, right? Because we have to figure out, well, how do we use Performance Max? When do we start using it? And I think it's really important for everyone to know that Performance Max campaigns complement existing search campaigns. It's better to use it with other campaigns than by itself, and that these smart campaigns create more reach for you and more awareness within a market, because it can take advantage of all the different channels, right? It can serve a variety of the ads to the audience over YouTube, search, display, Gmail, etc. And one thing to know is how it works with search campaigns. So because there is search involved, right? If a user's search query is the same keyword that you have in an active search campaign, Google's actually smart enough to know that it will say, hey, you know what, let's serve and utilize our search campaign. Let's give that the priority in this situation compared to Performance Max. So they work together. It knows when to use Performance Max and when to pull back. And then with message strategy, we want to make sure that we have alignment across all marketing channels. And this is outside of just digital, right? I'm talking search, display, but also print, maybe newsprint, radio, billboards. What's your marketing mix, right? What are all the channels that you're utilizing? And do we have message alignment? So with Performance Max specifically, you really can alternate between like your brand versus tactical messaging. So brand, as we know, is more like who, what, where. Call to actions are more top of funnel. You're just starting to learn about the brand. Maybe you want someone to view the website or subscribe. Tactical messaging you can turn on, and it's more lower funnel. It's more about the product or maybe a current promotion that you're running. So Performance Max campaign is really good for this, because you can add shop now, book now, get a quote, get directions. You can be more specific in what you'd like them to do. So on the right here, I actually have just two visual examples. One's our own display ad. It's more branded, right? Learn more. Of course, I want more visibility, and of course, I want more profitability. So it's a good top of funnel campaign that we're running. But on the other search example, this is for e-commerce, and I think this does a really good job of highlighting a tactical message. It's not actually leading with a product. It's talking about the brand name and that they have that buy now, pay later feature. So you can make a purchase, you can get the, in this case, hair extensions that you really want, but you can pay over 4 easy payments. So it's easier for you to do. It's less of a burden. So that's a benefit feature that they're promoting. And this is, this is messaging that you can include in Performance Max campaigns. So when it comes to strategy, we know that we can reach our audience in different stages of the sales funnel, right? Search generally is when someone's actually interested. They're typing in on Google, they're looking for information, they're looking for an answer, they want to buy something. Display is more maybe retargeting or proactively going after an audience. Performance Max can do both. It really can help drive conversions and engagements for your brand. It allows you to inject, because we have so many message assets that we're able to use, we can really communicate pain points. We can show how to solve the problem and that you're the answer. Think about, if you are serving up display ads or search ads, the person gets that, but then they also start to see YouTube videos, and the YouTube video is communicating the pain point, and it visually, with sound and audio and audio, of course, audio and visual, right? It's telling you and showing you the pain point and how you're the product's the solution. So we really can help them get through the sales funnel much quicker. One thing to note, just something to think about, right? What happens after someone makes a purchase or they convert? I think a lot of times this is just forgotten about, right? The end goal is, oh, let's get a conversion, we have a sale. But what happens afterwards? Well, of course we can retarget, but Performance Max really easily and efficiently can help you cross-sell and upsell other products that you have. So for your target audience, you're able to also show different maybe product lines. Maybe you have 24/7 support, certain resources that they now have access to once they make a purchase. You can take someone who's happy with your brand and your product, and then you can turn them into loyalists. You can make them really happy. And now they're going to come back. There'll be a repeat purchase. And also they're going to be the loyalist who's going to talk about your brand in front of their friends and family. So I went through a couple different ideas and different strategies, but different ways to actually, implement Performance Max and how you can use it within your overall strategy and to communicate multiple messages at different points throughout the sales funnel.
Alrighty, awesome. Thank you so much, Max and Maggie. So now that we're at the end of our presentation, I do want to open it up to questions in a bit. I'm actually looking at the poll results, and it's very, very interesting. And thank you everybody for participating. We have 100% participation in our poll. So the first question, and this was, are you running some type of automated smart campaign on Google Ads? 50% said yes and 50% said no. Okay, so that's good to know. The second question is, do you run your own digital ads programs? And actually the majority of you said yes. 57% said yes, 8 out of 14. 43% said no. So that is interesting too. So, I mean, definitely, if you guys are running your own digital ads program, I mean, we would definitely love to be of assistance, somehow. I think this really speaks to both aspects. One, half of you are not running a smart campaign automated, and the majority of you are running your own campaigns. So definitely, we would love to be of assistance there. If there's any other Q&A, any other questions, feel free to ask us in the chat, in the Q&A portion of the webinar. And Max, I see a question coming in. I think, do you want to take this one?
Oh yeah. So thanks, Brian. To run a performance max campaign, you really just need to make sure that your G tag is installed. So if you're using the latest Google Analytics 4 platform, it's already installed. Or if you've already used your Google Ads tag, in settings and under conversions, if that is installed, which hopefully it is, if you're running the program, you actually don't need to do additional tagging. So as long as you are just aware of like what Maggie was showing with additional insights and making sure that there's maybe audience segments set up, there's additional information it can gain, but no, there's no additional tagging needed for Performance Max. If there's any other incoming questions, even afterwards or even next week, the webinar will be available. We're going to be publishing it on YouTube and also our social media. But if there's any other thoughts, questions, feedback, I'll be monitoring our social media. So feel free to tweet us, message us on Facebook, LinkedIn, Instagram.
Yeah, definitely. Feel free to connect with us. And as mentioned, you guys will have access to this presentation as well. So before we sign off, I really hope that everybody enjoyed it. Raise your hands and that will represent a round of applause for us and our team. We're happy to really be a part of this and to present this to you today. And I hope that everybody found it useful. And as mentioned, we'll be doing more webinars in the future. So stay tuned to our social media, subscribe to our email, and we'll definitely be in touch. And again, I just want to thank everybody, for your time today, for giving us an hour of your time and allowing us to do this for you and to share our knowledge and our insights. And hopefully you'll find something useful from this in the future.